Recording. And Rebecca, would you please roll call us?
Hey, Lauren,
I am here.
Pat.
Chief Pain in the Ass, I am here.
Hey, me, Rebecca, I am here. Mike,
Who did you say?
Mike Van Roy. I don't see him on
Huh.
the
I don't see him here yet.
participants list, so I'll come back to him. Joe,
I'm here.
Brandon, I will come back to him. Francisco, nope, I don't see him here. June, here. Mark,
Present.
Wesley,
I'm here.
Mimi,
I'm here.
Dave,
Here.
Richard,
Here.
Paul,
Here.
Starchild,
Presente.
Kara. Nope, I do not see her on the participants list. And I do not see Mike, Brandon, Francisco here either. Right now we have 12 here.
All right, well, that's sufficient for us to move ahead. Yeah, we have quorum for tonight. All right. So as people come in, we will note them, but that will move us to adoption of the agenda. The agenda was emailed out. I'm working from my working draft. I noticed that the sent out agenda was missing the part for adopt the agenda, as well as the big minute reports. So if we need a motion to do that, I think that I will motion to add adopt the agenda and the big minute reports to tonight's agenda, which was in the official record that was sent out by Rebecca.
I'll second.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Can I add a question here? It came out like a couple hours ago. It came out on Signal several hours ago. What's the routine?
This document is perpetual. This document is always open. You can
On
follow
the Google group?
Yeah, on the Google group. You can follow the link to this document and you can add whatever comments you like about whatever you want to
Okay.
see on the
Thank
agenda.
you.
I encourage everyone to do that. As is common, people like to get in there like the day of and start looking at it. There are a few of us. June generally is out there way ahead. But yeah, don't be afraid to monitor the nature of the agenda and stick comments on there for what you want for next month. Starchild is pretty good about that. He threw on some endorsement stuff and some links and things. So anyway, we have a motion to amend the agenda to add the adoption of the agenda and the big minute reports from me. Starchild seconded that. Is there an objection to doing that as we move forward here?
Lauren, I had a possible amendment where we could just do it as a separate thing. I'd like to amend the agenda to make sure that we have unlimited time for public comment instead of capping it.
I don't know that that's a super great idea, given that these meetings generally go 2-3 hours to begin with. But there is a motion to amend the agenda to remove the time limit from public comment. Is there a second for that motion?
I'm open to having more frequent meetings if we need to. I think we should never short circuit our members being able to give input.
Well, that's fair, but at this point, but you have moved that. Your motion is to remove the time limit from public comment. Is there a second for that motion? I am hearing no second for that motion, so we'll let that one fail. Okay, but we're back then to the motion to adopt the agenda, to add the adoption of the agenda and the big minute report, which was seconded by Starchild. Is there objection to that motion?
Yes, I object.
You object, Rebecca
I
objects.
object only because I know you guys probably did not see it because I sent out an updated version at 6:10 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, which
So
has these two things?
Yes.
Oh, perfect then. Okay. All right. Then I don't think we need to deal with that. We'll just skip that. I will withdraw my motion, inappropriate though that may be per whatever procedural deal we're dealing with.
Question, the email I see has a PDF document, but that's not the same as a website link where you can make changes to the document. Could you or someone send that out again? Ideally, I'd love to have that as a site on our website, where people could know where to go and see it, not have to go and find the link and email every time for the Google Doc.
I will repost the link to the agenda draft. Now, only members of the committee will have comment access to the draft. People will be able to view it as it grows, but only the members of the committee will have the ability to actually stick stuff on it, because otherwise.
Are you saying that link is actually public? Other people can look at it?
Yeah, that link is shareable. Yeah,
Okay.
you can share that link right now.
That's good to know, because then it would make it easier for me to find it. Right now, I have no idea.
Anybody with the link can view the agenda document. You guys on the committee have extra permissions for the document where you can comment.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
All right. Do we want to mess with the agenda any further? Maybe
My
get your
hand
hand
is
up.
just to,
Sorry, Mimi.
yeah, to adopt the agenda as presented.
All right. A motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Do you have a second for that?
Second.
Second from Wesley. Objection for the adoption of the agenda.
Yeah, I would like to move to amend it.
Oh, okay. What do you want to move to amend?
There's a bunch of things toward the end. They're kind of it seems to me a strange order. There's endorsement of AB 1537. There's endorsement of AB 1627. There's a one line that says statewide ballot proposition endorsements, but doesn't list any propositions. Then it says endorse initiative 26004. Then it has three more state legislative things. I would like to move to reorder those to put the this year's propositions first, then the undo top two initiative, and then all the AB 4-digit things.
All the ABs. Okay. So I just want to restate it so I know what you're saying. You want to move ballot proposition and the endorsement initiative thing behind I have a spot here for candidate endorsements. We don't have any.
Yeah, up to
that's
there.
Where we can put it.
Move the statewide proposition, the 2026 propositions, and endorsing undo top two to above AB 1537.
All right. I have adjusted that in the working draft. Is there a second for that amendment?
I'll second.
We have a second from Pat. Is there an objection to shifting that around like that? It's just housekeeping. All right, we'll go ahead and do that. That being the case, then let's revert back to Mimi. Do we have an objection now to accepting the amended agenda? All right, let's move it ahead. Let's go ahead into the big minute. It's July. This is like the calm before the storm, I think, here in July, although there's been some fun stuff happening. I think some of us have some fun stuff to report. I just have a small one this month. I took a phone call from a fella who was one of the many people who abandoned the party in the wake of the Mises nastiness. And he had a conversation with me. We had a significant text exchange. He had a lot to say. But the upshot of that was that he was going to rejoin the party. So I consider that a small victory, but hey, I'll take him. So that was an interesting conversation with a longtime activist. Pat, what have you been up to for the past month?
Well, I've been up to a lot. The strategic plan was a nightmare. ChatGPT really let me down, but I have a version I put on the execcom email list and no one has responded. Joe Dean put one out. I think he probably put me to shame, but I stole everything I could from Joe Dean. So let's see. There should be some way the strategic plan should not be an individual effort. There should be a few people into it. There was also a question. Lauren sends in an email list which says California execcom members or something. I compared that to the list I have and the list that Wesley gives me, and there were like 300 people who are not on my list. And I said, where do these people come from? And no one has really answered that, although now I kind of got an answer from me and from Lauren that they are national members who are not LPC members. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's the upshot of that conversation.
Well, you gave me previously that list labeled as such, and so I sent out an email with permission saying that you're a national member but not an LPC member. Would you like to join the LPC or at least subscribe to the Be Libertarian? And that was that one person, Alicia, who caused us some confusion because she was a very privacy advocate. but she did sign up to get to be Libertarian, but she's not an LPC member. So I know Wesley, as much as he drives me crazy, has a huge task. Neon is a freaking mess, as any database is that has been through so many fingers. And I would like to hope we get a report on what is the status of Neon, because the database is like 80% of your success. And Neon is kind of a mess. Nobody's fault. It's just that so many people have worked on it. And so now we get this list from, I guess, national, and these are California people, and it's just a mess.
Well,
so
and
there it is.
we are struggling our way forward through it and
It
sorting
is a
that thing out.
huge struggle. As much as Wesley drives me crazy,
Oh,
he's got a huge job on his hands, and better him than me, you know?
He does indeed have a huge job on his hands. All right.
A rut's a ruck.
Okay, Rebecca. Rebecca, what have you been up to?
Hello, yes, I think I have caught up on all my work.
Fantastic.
The membership report went out. Both the minutes have been updated on the website until April. The bylaws and the OPM have been updated. So I think I have everything done. I would appreciate it if anybody would look at the bylaws to make sure I got everything correct.
Fantastic. Thank you. Mike, I think I saw Mike come in here somewhere. Did Mike Van Roy make it in the meeting?
I don't really have much to report on the party side of things. I regret having to miss Freedom Fest this year because I had to find a new place to live.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, Joe.
So I did a bunch of work on gathering and collating and posting various kinds of information about things like membership, election results, and things relating to the upcoming election. You've probably seen my messages about that. Generally, I post a copy to all you guys, as well as posting them on websites where appropriate. I also did a bunch of work on the Nation Builder implementation. I created a document to introduce it to the people from the various counties to enable them to test it. It basically explains what the project is and gives them an introduction to doing some simple things using Nation Builder, because if you're not familiar with it, then you don't know where to start. And the document that was provided by Chris and TJ is pretty long. I don't know, something like 39 pages, and I can't really expect somebody to read that. So I wrote a much briefer introduction. And as part of that, to get things ready, I also did some work on filters. I defined some standard filters so that people could just go in and ask for something like give me all my active members, or give me all the people who've recently lapsed, so that they don't have to know how to create a filter. They can just use those things as built-in things. And as part of that, I also made some adjustments to the tag system to allow us to take care of people who are not registered Libertarian, but we can allow to be Central Committee members anyway, because they're minors. They can't, because they're not, the bylaws say registered Libertarian if eligible, and these people are not eligible for one reason or another. Anyway, so I did all those things to get it ready for people to actually try it out with their county thing, and I sent that out to people from 5 different counties to get them started on doing testing. I also, because as you all know, I'm really interested in membership statistics, I also went through and tried to see what it would take to do the kind of membership report we've been producing monthly from Neon, and see if I could do essentially the same thing based on the Nation Builder database. And I found that I could. I came up with a procedure for exporting the information and running it through a script to produce a similar kind of report. The results are not correct because the information that has been uploaded into Nation Builder is not up to date, but it shows that we could do that.
Well,
I've also done a bunch of things at the county level. We had a booth at a 4th of July event, and we have a county central committee meeting coming up this Saturday. So we're getting ready for various topics that are going to be discussed there. And one of the most interesting ones is we've got some people in our county who are interested in this Indigenous Alliance question that was recently addressed at the National Committee. And we are actually going to have Alex Flores, who is the person who submitted that to the LNC member who got that passed. We're going to have him be a speaker at our Central Committee meeting to explain to him the idea of that. So that's basically what I've been busy with.
Okay.
Can I ask him a question real quick?
Well, very quickly. We got to
Okay,
move.
the membership graph that Joe produces, is it from Neon or is it from the Nationalist? Because someone said he uses the Nationalist that you send over to generate the report.
That absolutely sounds like something you guys need to take up in an email so that Joe
Yeah,
can fully explain
I
his
think I've
methodology
explained
and
it,
everything.
but if you have a question, maybe you want to come up under the membership committee or something if there's discussion.
Okay.
Yeah,
membership.
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and move ahead. Brandon. Incidentally, Rebecca, we got Mike Van Roy and Brandon Jackson have joined the meeting. I don't know if you're noting that, but Brandon, please go ahead. Is Brandon here? I thought Brandon joined the meeting. There he is. He's on the list.
Hello?
Brandon, he's there. Okay. Brandon, give us a minute. What have you been up to?
Oh no. Hello?
Hello, yes.
Oh
Hello.
God. All right. Sorry. I'm out and about helping my sister. Her apartment got flooded from her upstairs neighbor and we're like moving stuff out. So I'm like, anyways. I've been working on court stuff. So this is kind of like a down month for me. I went to Freedom Fest, talked to quite a few people, volunteered there for a few speakers. And that's kind of it. I'm trying to get y'all support for Jeremy Todd's run in Kentucky. Since y'all worked on Thomas Massey's campaign, I figured try to get all that data over to Jeremy for his run. So I'm currently in the talks with them, and then I'm going to YALCon later this month to try to like hopefully secure that. So it's not California necessarily, but I figured it's kind of a bigger thing. But that's kind of it.
Well, okay, fair enough. Good luck with the flood. All right, Dave.
So I don't know if you guys are aware of this or if you can even see it. It's ballot access news from Richard Winger and Bill Redpath, 6-pager that comes out monthly that tracks all the nonsense to try to keep third parties off the ballot. But the lead issue, which is heartwarming, says major party share of registration drops below 65% for the first time in at least 90 years. And they have a nice chart from February 93 to July of 26 that shows Democrat versus Republican or plus Republican and then the total. So it's definitely below 65%. It's only for the states that report bipartisan registration. So it's not all the states, but it's the ones where they have the data. So that's good news. Second thing is someone, I don't even remember who, maybe Joe, put out a 3-column list that showed how many Central Committee members we have in the first column, registration by county in the second column, and then the third column was votes for Chase Oliver. So I was playing around with ChatGPT. I thought you can't do too much incorrect when it comes to just running things like multivariate regressions, but I wanted to see how it did. So I had it generate a little report, and it'll all require much more analysis. But if anybody wants a copy of that, and I'm very happy. I mailed it out to a handful of people. But if you're interested in that, it to my mind doesn't have to be golden. We should double check everything, but it gives a few insights into how we could be doing analysis. So, and answer questions like on the strategic plan, does going after more members, does that seem to pay off in registration at the county level or votes for our presidential candidate? The key finding, the top correlation was registration counts by county do correlate with votes for the presidential candidate, which is a bit unsurprising.
Well, fair enough. All right. Francisco, did you come in?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Yes. Yeah, so 4th of July, we had an event. Some of us here in Fresno, we joined a 5K run / walk. And we bought a booth and a table, and so that was interesting there. got to meet some new people, and Willie Brown Jr. He's running for Senate District 12, I believe it is, or 16. I think it's 12. Well, he showed up,
Well,
and I was talking to him a little bit and asked him about his campaign, what his plans were, strategy wise, fundraising. So he said at the moment he's not planning on doing any fundraising, just because he doesn't want to accept any kind of donations. Um, but he did say that he's seen all our messages and he'll get back to us when he has time. He said he was a little busy at the moment, but that's pretty much it.
Well, all right. You're the guy closest to him, so kind of stay in touch as best you can.
Yep.
All right. June. June, are you there?
Muted.
Oh, there's
Sorry
June.
about that. Besides the general keeping in touch with the other reform groups in the state, I've experimented with some of the new features Wesley has put on the website. I posted an article about why libertarians should support ranked choice. I'd like to do one on proportional ranked choice, but it's a little harder to explain, so I'm still thinking about that one. I'd like to hear from Brandon about why neither I or Andrea have heard anything back from you about the effort in the city of San Diego, because I think that's an important one. It hits both ranked choice and proportional representation as they're doing it. I did post a couple of things on the calendar on the website, which is another new feature. And the one thing I discovered is that it has limited use because the only people who are going to see things are the people who go to the website and ask to see the calendar. That's why I put something on the agenda to talk about an alert network, something that will inform people about things happening short term that they might want to know about without having to track things down. So that's it.
Okay. Mark,
Oh, good evening.
good evening.
So I've got confirmation the booth at the state fair is a go. I think we've got about a dozen people signed up for numerous slots. One of the nice things over the last year and this year they've done with the state fair, Monday through Thursday, we only have to staff the booth from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 10. So that cuts down on the number of volunteers that we have to go through, and a lot of the usual suspects, Rodney Austin, Sandra Collender, Barbara Engelhardt, usual suspects are signing up. We got a new guy, Jake, who seems like a real go-getter. So, so things are moving along there, and things are good. One thing I did run across a little bit of a headache is I wanted to call a lot of local Sacramento, Yolo County, et cetera, people to get them to volunteer. And I had to double the time. Apparently, my access to the reporting mechanism in Neon is not there. So I can't search for members in like Sacramento County.
It's not just
Dave,
you. Everybody was cut off. I'm not sure who made that decision, but we were all cut off.
Oh, okay. But Dave ran a report for me, so I'm good to go there.
Okay.
Oh, and one other thing, in this San Francisco Bay Area, there's going to be yet another sales tax measure on the ballot in November. San Francisco will be at 1%, and the other four counties 0.5% sales tax for transit. Yay!
Unbelievable. Riverside actually defeated their big sales tax measure at the primary. That was really handy. That was a moment of rejoicing. Mimi, we're around to you. Give us your minute.
Okay, so I've got a couple different things for my minute. One of them I brought up before the meeting started is that National is finally ready to go back to the Unified Membership Program. So I talked to Lauren about that. I'm excited about that because we actually did really well with that in the past. And National for 2 months in a row has actually increased membership, both, overall and in California. I know we're working on membership right now. This is going to be a good thing. We'll be able to get that back on the website for people to be able to join both at once. And they've actually changed it a bit. So it used to be we got like a check every month, or not a check, but an ACH transfer every month for the members that joined through National. Now it's going to be instantaneous. We will get an email, well, the membership and the secretary to put it in our database will get an email, and we will get the money as soon as it comes in. So it's going to be even better than it was before, because we used to have to wait a month or a month and a half to get the check. So we'll get it. And it also will make it easier for reporting, because it got kind of weird with reporting in the past. So that's exciting. I went to Freedom Fest last week, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was at the booth a lot of the time. And interestingly, we were trying to get people to join right there. And I had like a couple people join National, because that's the only link I had at that moment, that were California, that said that they would also be joining the state because they're happy with the direction of the party. So I was doing it for both National and the party at the table. And I was at the table a lot, because there was actually, frankly, a lot of speakers that were really like super Republican that I didn't really care to listen to. So yeah, but it was, all in all, it was really good. And my last little part is I spoke at Pierce College again, which I do usually just the 2 semesters, but they had a special one for the summer students for the political party or political science. And that actually was, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was a bigger group of people, and it was a longer period of time. It was like 2 hours instead of 1 hour. And I always love talking to the college kids. So that is my minute for this last thing. I will just mention one other thing. I did not send out an IT report. This has been a very busy month for me. I'm getting my mom's house ready to sell, which is breaking my heart. And I had a lot of other stuff going on. So I haven't been able to do as much as I typically do in terms of that. But hopefully once the house is on the market, I will have more time. So I just wanted to, anybody waiting for that report, it's not going to happen.
Next month. Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
Paul.
Paul.
Next month.
All right, let's come around on Paul. Thank you, baby.
I don't have much to report. My health problems are still ongoing. I probably shouldn't even be at this meeting in my
We're glad you
wheelchair.
made it.
But because the bylaws were changed to must instead of may expel members after missing 2 meetings, here I am. So I'm contributing what I can.
Well, we appreciate you doing it, Paul. Richard.
So the past month, we got the registrations sorted out between Humboldt County and Butte County Fair Associations to make sure that all the appropriate fees and insurances are paid. So that way we can table it both in locations come August without any timing conflicts. As well, the Libertarian Party of Humboldt County has actually been working on a single issue coalition with the American Communist Party up here for a demonstration at the courthouse that will be happening this weekend and possibly next weekend as well, protesting the pedophile elite class that currently is going unprosecuted and unpersecuted in the United States. And so we got them to couch their anti-Zionism rhetoric for the advert and make it a single issue. So then that way we can get more support. Most people are opposed to that class of individual. So we feel like we're going to get a decent amount of people to show up to support that as well. Approximately 5.5 hours ago, my 6th child was born into the world.
Oh, you're at the meeting then. Go away.
So, she is doing well in the hospital now, and baby is also doing fine. And I am, playing Mr. Mom right now. So
fantastic.
I will be listening in and commenting as I can.
I salute you for doing your part to defeat population decline. Well done, Richard. That's a good job. Wes, let's come around on you. Give us a minute.
Operations. I just push buttons. Emails get sent, content get posted. features get implemented month in, month out. That's it.
Well, fair enough. I think calendar works, so that's positive. And clearly the blog thing works, so that's cool too. I look forward to seeing more content from June there. All right, Kara, are you here? Did Kara come in?
Yeah, I was here writing an email back to Star Child, waiting for
Okay.
7 o'clock to roll around.
Oh, sorry, 6:30, but we're glad
It's
you're
not
here.
your fault. I have a Tuesday San Diego County meeting like every other week at 7, and so my brain just automatically, was waiting for 7 o'clock. So anyways, I made it luckily. Happy to be here. I've been trying to get my feet wet with participation and with the email threads. And it was kind of a fun endeavor working on a list and then a poll for something to spark some discussion and hopefully the various parallel strategic plan things that have been going can kind of converge tonight when we talk. Um, Also, kind of unrelated to California, I was excited about the resolution that passed because people that know me know I have like a lot of ties to Hawaii. My kids are Hawaiian. And there's certain issues that really overlap with libertarian principles that have to do with Hawaiian sovereignty. Um, that I think most any libertarian, no matter where they kind of fall on the board, could get would feel comfortable supporting. So I was excited about that. I'm hoping to work with some people on things with that. And yeah, I just got back from vacation, so that is great. And lastly, I'll just say big congrats, Richard. That's super awesome. Congrats on the baby.
All righty. Thank you. Star Child. Bring it home.
Sorry.
You are the last on the list, so
Okay.
you're batting cleanup.
So,
Give us a minute.
Yeah, I don't have too much to report this month. I will be doing a debate with Justin Tucker, a group called College of Complexes in Chicago. I'm going to be appearing remotely, but the event takes place in Chicago on August 29th. I put a link for that in the chat. Let me see. I found something that I think is of interest to us. This was in a local San Mateo paper. It's a list of delinquent taxpayers for property tax. There's 96 listings in here, and they list the property owner, the address, and the amount owed. This is all for Santa Clara County. It's put out by someone with the Department of Tax and Collections of Santa Clara County. But it strikes me that, probably other counties have this. And I think one of the best outreach things for us is finding victims of the state and contacting them and saying, hey, we're on your side. How can we help? I'd love to see that happen on an organized basis. These tax listings of people who might be potentially evicted from their homes that they supposedly own, but they're basically renting from the government because they don't get to stay there unless they pay the rent, property tax. So, I think could be a great outreach thing for us. On the, I want to second Kara's comments on the Hawaii, the broader indigenous resolution that Alex Flores put forward, and I'll try to make that Santa Clara thing where he's speaking if possible. I'm really interested in the worldwide freedom movement and secession. I've got a document I've compiled listing dozens, I think I've got up to maybe close to 90 now, secession or independence movements around the world, including in the United States. And I have dreams of like having a group that would let them support each other locally here in San Francisco or the Bay Area. I actually had talked to Mike about, I think, Mike, you were going to follow up with me about whether Alameda County LP might have an extra meetup group slot available to host something like that.
Yeah, send me that list.
Yeah, well, it's a whole document, and most
Okay.
of them are just very brief entries, but this is worldwide. It's everything from of Art Talk to Calistan to there's a whole bunch of them, and some of them most people have never heard of, probably like secessionist movements in places like Angola or Nigeria. But the San Francisco Bay Area is a very multicultural place with a lot of expatriate communities. So I think it's a great place to have a in-person group, something like this, where they could come together and learn about each other's movements, because most of these movements are very good at getting their own people to turn out for things. Like every March 10th in San Francisco, the Tibetans have a big rally or series of rallies, and they often march to the Chinese consulate. They've had Nancy Pelosi speaking to them in the past, and they get a good turnout. But looking at the crowd, it's probably 90% plus Tibetans, and that's typical for these groups. They're very good at motivating their own communities to participate and get engaged, but not so good at reaching the broader public. So I think we could potentially be an interface there for them to help them connect with broader audience. So this resolution from National might be a good way to start on that. And Mike, we can talk. I'd be happy to send you the info, and you can let me know if you've heard anything about the meetup group, or if anybody has any other ideas for that, if they have an extra meetup slot. Meetup gives you 3 organizer slots if you're a meetup organizer, but we're using all ours for LPSF. Anyway, I probably went over a minute, so I'll just leave it at that. Lauren, I think you're muted.
Figures. That's the one moment. Okay. So all right. Well, glad to hear from everybody. Let's move on to minutes from the last meeting. We have a series of minuteses that Rebecca has submitted. Has everybody gotten a chance to kind of glance at those? I glanced through them and they seem okay to me, but I welcome your
To adopt all
eye for
3
detail.
at one motion.
We have a motion from June to just adopt all the minutes. So do we have a
Said
second?
3. She said 3, but there are 4.
Oh, sorry, I miscounted.
Okay, so we have the motion from June to adopt the 4 sets of minutes that are there.
Just say all.
All the minutes that were in Rebecca's
second again.
All right, and we have a second from Mimi for that. Is there any objection to accepting those minutes? Okay, then we'll go ahead and call those minutes accepted.
I have a question about one of those meetings.
Oh, okay.
Not about the minutes. The most recent one, I didn't see a recording. Usually you send out a link to the recording.
You're right, and I forgot to do that this last time. I sent it to Rebecca. I can send it out to everybody again.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize for that. Okay, well, that brings us into our public comment period. Do we have anybody who's not on the committee who would like to take a couple of minutes to speak? Always a crapshoot. Looks like we have a hand up from Jamie Deluzak. Am I saying that right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Can you hear
Sure.
me?
Take 2 minutes, Jamie. Yep. Give us 2 minutes.
All right. I'm here because of the Alex Flores attendance at the Central Committee meeting for Santa Clara County, and I just wanted to put in the chat the link to the Zoom, and also a recent article he published in the Torch about the resolution, which was in fact passed unanimously. And in fact, what I did do is I contacted the LNC about it to try to get a sense of why they promoted it. And that was partially for my own personal reasons to kind of understand their thinking. And I got a really good response from Amanda, who is the vice chair, who also may be in attendance on Saturday. And I'd just like to read that. She said, I firmly believe that the Libertarian Party should work to incorporate tribal nations as affiliates within national structure, and that national as well as local chapters should do more to coalition with First Peoples on their overlong battles against state encroachment. I voted for this resolution as a first step toward both these objectives and those derivatives of them. I'm very grateful to have Mr. Flores on the National Committee helping to lead the charge. So this resolution, it puts some wind behind our sails, what we're doing in Santa Clara. And I hope anyone here in the executive committee would join us, or, you can publish this text that I'm going to put in the chat to get more people to attend. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you. All right. Do we have any other comment to come before us here at this time? Okay.
I'd
Oh.
like to move, Lauren, to let people comment on individual agenda items if something comes up and there's somebody not on the committee that wants to speak on an agenda item.
I think it is our broad practice to
I
kind of do that
think
on an ad hoc basis as needed. Yeah.
That is our current practice. Okay.
Yeah. As needed. I mean, we don't need everybody waiting on everything, but if someone has something germane to add to a thing, I think it has been our practice to hear from those people. Yeah. All right. Anybody else for public comment? All right, let's move ahead. Let's go ahead to the treasurer's report. Mike, what do you got?
Okay, I sent it out about an hour ago. Apologize for it being late again. The budget to actual presentation, I can't even read it myself. So yeah, I got to think of a way to present that so that it's actually readable to other people.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I have a question on for Tom. I'm sorry. Did Tom Woodard,
Mike? Oh, Tom Woodard.
Mike, did Tom Woodard pay back the loan?
No, and I believe he said he would be unlikely to.
Yeah,
what a surprise.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. He said he would try to.
Right.
Did
Okay.
not say he was unlikely to. I don't
might have
think he's
misheard it
really
then.
going to, but he did say that he was going to try to.
A man of his word. Got it.
This was when he talked to us at the previous meeting. I guess there's nothing new since then. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We
I
need to be
remember him
careful.
saying at the meeting that he was going to try. Yeah.
He did. That was the gist of his comments at the meeting, but I think that there's been no motion on that to this point. Or that it was just no movement has happened on that.
So it's a dead end.
Well, so far. I mean, you know.
So is that showing in our campaign finance reports as an outstanding loan, or how does it show?
Yes. That's exactly how it shows.
Checks in the mail. Got
I
it.
noticed
All right. Yes, Star Child.
Questions for the
you
treasurer.
have a money question real quick?
Yeah, I noticed there's something in there about there's still a credit card in Kevin Takanaga's name, who's a former chair. There was no money associated with it or anything. I was just wondering what's up with that. Anybody knows?
I have my hand up.
I know nothing about
I
anything for that. What do you know? What's going on with that, Mimi?
Yeah, it's a GL account that exists. I'm not exactly sure what's been shared to show that because it's been a zero balance for like forever. We don't have any credit cards. So I don't know why you're seeing it. It existed at one point and it had a balance at one point. It hasn't had a balance for over a decade. I'm going to have to look at what report got sent out that showed that actually. But yeah, there's nothing, there's no there because it doesn't exist.
So I guess I have no fear, Star Child. Kevin Takanaga does not have a secret pipeline to our money. I think is the upshot of that.
I wasn't thinking of that. I was just wondering why that, if there's still some outstanding credit card or something there, even if it's not being used, seems like
apparently it's just an old line that needs to be corrected.
Then another briefly, this isn't really a question, I guess more of a request or a suggestion. I'd like to suggest again, Mike, in terms of the readability. It would be helpful to me to see a line item budget, each income or expense item, just a brief description of what the item is, who the money was received from or was paid to, and a date and description. I think that would just be very helpful for lay people in terms of being able to understand things, go down to the granular level without having to understand.
You made that request at the last meeting, and I shot it down at the last meeting.
It would be potentially a lot, but I think there's room to have some kind of a conversation about that offline, not in this forum. Yeah, but I think it's an interesting thought, and I think that it bears some conversation offline. Mimi, you have your hand up.
So I just wanted to mention that Mike and I are going to be meeting again, but we have an FPPC report and an FEC report due at the end of this month that goes through the end of June. And all of that information that I think Star Child is asking for is actually shown on the FPPC and FEC reports. It's not only, you know, party knowledge, it's public knowledge. I don't know that we really need to, you know, provide something more than that to give a volunteer more work to do, because it's all right on the FPPC and FEC website. So that's just,
Okay.
I don't know that
If it can
we
just be
need to
All right.
go
Well,
as far as
we
we
don't we
want
don't
to.
we don't we don't
if
we
it's
don't need to
already
go.
there. I
We don't
don't
need to
think
go back and forth
people.
on this. That if these reports exist, then they exist. We don't necessarily need to go back and forth
Yeah,
about it at this moment.
Hey, Lauren, I can't figure out for some reason on my
just
computer how to put my hand up.
quick
But
Okay.
I just
Well,
wanted.
let me quickly finish with Star Child here, and then
Oh,
we'll come
sure,
to you,
sure.
Kara. Quickly, Star Child.
Yeah. I don't think we should ever be forcing libertarians to go to government information sources or websites or whatever to get information. I think we should provide that information directly to our own members. I'm happy to help volunteer type stuff in if that's an issue of volunteer time. It doesn't seem like it would take that long. Like we already do have someone has the information. Maybe it can just be copied and pasted from those FEC documents or whatever. I don't know, but I don't think we should be forcing people to go other places. I think we should have it clearly presented for our members.
It's a fair statement.
What I
Okay.
think maybe was
Okay,
getting at, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think maybe we're saying that as we're preparing this report, we can we'll have the information that we can present to the XCOM. So I don't think Mimi was talking about going to a government report, but while we're doing that, we can do this.
Well, fair enough. All right. We'll look to deal with something like that going forward. Kara, please.
Oh, I was just wondering if you guys did have somebody doing time, or if you wanted me to do it. I have the agenda up on my iPad right here, and I could do like a timer if you wanted it.
That would probably be a great idea. Yeah, we'll definitely come to that here as we go. We'll get into some heavy discussion items here, and so timing will probably be a great thing. So thank you for volunteering to do that, Kara. I'll tell you when to start the clock as we get going. All right. So do we need to do anything further with Treasurer's report? Okay, let's head into committee reports. It's my understanding that we don't really have a web IT thing. That's all kind of in flux right now, so we'll pick that up next month. Am I understanding that correctly?
Sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We might have something about Nation Builder, but we have nothing about, there's no IT committee report.
Okay. Do we have anything for membership and campaign outreach? Do we have any kind of committee report that anybody wants to try and share and deal with tonight?
Nothing for membership.
I didn't see a lot come through the email, so maybe we can move on right past this. Okay, all right, well then let's go ahead. That brings us into committee appointments, if any, for 10 minutes. Do we have any committee appointments to make? Does anybody want to bring anything before this committee in that respect at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll move ahead. Sorry.
Does Wes still need help with social media? I've been doing it for San Diego, and I could probably easily slide some of the, you know what I mean? So
we have a media committee meeting that's the first Sunday of every month. On our Facebook page, there's a link to the Zoom thing.
Okay.
And I'll put it on our website too. So this month it was July 5th. Next month it will be.
Can you put the link in the chat, Wesley?
My calendar just fell down. So next month it will be Sunday, August 2nd.
Yeah, if you still would like some more help, I'd be happy to try to make it and be a part of the team.
Always.
Love it.
Okay.
Love to see it.
If you start submitting articles, I will add you to the committee.
I don't know about articles.
Can you put the link for the
Wes, if you have
Wesley,
a link to the Zoom, can you throw it in the chat, please?
In the chat.
Yeah, let me grab it off Facebook real quick. Hold on.
Okay, we'll look to get that into the chat here. All right. Anything further committee appointment-ish as we're in this particular agenda item? Okay. All right. I have a spot here for Central Area Coordinator position. That search is still ongoing. No motion has happened on that, but with luck, I'll have something for next month. We'll see.
It says you're collecting responses. Have you
I am
actually
collecting
got?
responses. I
Have you gotten
I
any?
have gotten a half a response. I just need to follow up on it. Yeah, it's yeah, the central area is an interesting place. The central area. We love you guys in the central area. But unless anybody has an idea, does anybody, is some random person here in the meeting want to talk about being a central area coordinator? Makes sense. Okay, so let's move ahead. Let's move ahead to me having to do a big fat mea culpa here for everybody, and let's talk about our in-person EC meeting at the DoubleTree in November. We had a special meeting and we voted for that for November 7th, and like a fool, I didn't realize that I actually have a conflict and cannot attend the meeting on the 7th of November. It's a big silly story, but everybody go ahead and boo me because I am not actually available on November 7th after we did this whole big thing about meeting on November 7th. So we can deal with that a couple of different ways. I included some options here. Option one is that we do nothing. The meeting carries forward on the 7th, and Pat runs it. He's the vice chair, so there will be
Oh, God help us all.
Pat can run that meeting, and there'll be no date change there. Or we can change the date. I spoke to Wes, and Wes suitably beat me, so you can all feel comfortable that I have been suitably beaten for having to put Wes through this. But he talked to the hotel. Apparently, the hotel has a couple of options. We can do our meeting either on the 17th or the 24th of October, so ahead of the election instead of after the election. My recollection is that Starchild was very keen on doing something before the election, and so this might be something that he's into. But I put this to you. I don't have any particular motion to make here. I just wanted to alert you guys that I have this conflict. It's my own fault. And I leave it to the committee here to determine exactly how they want to handle that here. Thoughts? Starchild, you have your hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. I would like to remove my motion, but make it for either, and someone parliamentarily versed can help me with the language if they want, but make it either for the 17th or the 24th, based on the straw poll of committee members who would prefer which date, but to make it for one of those two dates instead of November 7th. And my reasoning again is that I think we should try to incorporate some kind of activism with our meetings, and that it makes sense to do that before the election more than it makes sense to do it after an election. And I think Sacramento, there should be opportunities to do something. If it's on the weekend and there's no legislators in their offices, we can go out and do a rally or something. But meeting with legislators, if it's able to do it during the
Legislators
week or
aren't going to
something,
be
that would
there.
Straw polling, that actually sounds like an interesting idea, but let's think about that here in a second. But in the meantime,
just see
Mimi,
who
you have your
prefers
hand up.
which day. But
Sure, no, I understand what you're saying.
Something like that.
Let's go to Mimi. Mimi's got her hand up. I think Mimi's on mute.
Oops, sorry. We don't need a motion for a straw poll. We're in discussion. We can just kind of, you still don't hear me? So we can just
No, I can hear you. Yeah.
Kind of discuss it. Yeah, okay. We can just discuss. We don't, so he said parliamentarian, like doing a straw poll thing.
Sure.
We can just kind of talk about this. I'm personally available for either of those 2 weekends. I mean, I think other people can maybe chime in, and then the motion can come out of like whatever of those 2 weekends would be best for everybody. I don't see a need for a motion to do a like a fill in the blank or something, sure, which would be a thing we could do. There is such a thing as a fill in the blank motion.
Yeah, I've seen that done before. That's
right. But
yeah,
let's go ahead and feel everybody out. I think the whole committee is here, or pretty much the whole committee. So let's kind of straw poll this a little bit. Rebecca, if you would please, let's go ahead and roll call here. And when Rebecca calls your name, should we do this as a which date you absolutely can't do, or should we do this as which date you prefer? How do you guys think we should handle that?
What are the dates?
Which date you can't. I would say which date you can't do would be easier.
I think that's reasonable. Okay.
Personally.
All right.
October 17th, October 24th, and November
7th. Correct. Those are our 3 options. October 17th, October 24th, and November 7th. So when Rebecca calls your name, if you would please say which of those 3 dates you can't do. Which of those dates are you unavailable for? And let's have Rebecca kind of tally where we're at. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand what we're doing?
I
Okay.
understand, Lauren, but I'd like to express a preference for a date. It's not that I
Well, we can
absolutely
come
can't
around on
do
that.
any
We
of
can come
them.
around on that. We can come around on that. But first, let's make sure, like, if we end up knocking a weekend out because a bunch of people just aren't available, and then we can talk from there. So let's go ahead and work it through this
I
way.
mean,
So does everybody
my
understand what we're
motion
doing?
was actually to. I mean, I know Mimi was saying we didn't need a motion, but my motion was actually to choose between the 17th and the 24th, and based on a straw poll.
Well,
What
let's
if,
have
Okay,
what
I've
if,
got a point of parliament here. I've got a point here.
Okay.
Starchild is not seated. He can't make motions.
Oh, well,
All
that's
of the
a fair
at-larges are
point at
here.
this point.
Starchild can't make a motion.
That's a fair point. All right. So, so that being the case, then let's go ahead and just poll this very quickly. When Rebecca calls your name, say which of those three dates, October 17th, October 24th, or November 7th, that you are absolutely unavailable for. So let's start there. So Rebecca, if you would please.
Okay, all right, let's go with Pat.
Lucky me up front. Any date is fine, and I probably am not that horrible at leading a meeting, but Lauren probably has an agenda, so we will survive. Any date.
Okay, great. Yeah, me, I can't be available on the 24th. Okay, so Mike.
I prefer the 24th. I can do any day. Any of these three.
Joe.
I strongly prefer that it not be the 24th. I like the
Okay.
7th as the best, but 24th is especially bad.
It's okay.
Okay, Brandon.
So the 16th is my birthday, and I was planning on going on vacation. I haven't planned it yet, but the 17th was probably the only one I would say no to. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Francisco.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Either any of those dates are fine with me.
Okay, June.
June, you're muted.
Yeah, I don't know if I will have any conflicts, so I don't care. I don't get my schedule till late in the previous month.
Okay, Mark.
No issues. All three are okay.
Hey, Wesley.
I'm open.
Mimi.
I'm open for all three.
Dave.
Open.
Richard.
I prefer anything but the 24th.
Paul.
In true libertarian fashion, I'm voting for Nota. Travel is an issue for me right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Starchild.
I can potentially do any of them. I would prefer the 17th. After that, the 24th, just because I think it makes more sense to do before the election, and I'd like to see us do some activism.
Okay, Kara.
I can't do the 24th weekend.
Okay, and Lauren.
And obviously, I can't do the 7th.
Okay, it looks like there's one person who cannot do the 7th, one person who cannot do the 17th, and 1, 2, 3. There's 4 people who cannot do the 24th.
Okay. So it sounds like if we are going to move it, then the 17th is the place to move it to. Mimi, you have your hand up.
I have my hand up to move that we do it on the 17th. No offense, Brandon, but sorry.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to shift the date of our in-person EC meeting at the DoubleTree in Sacramento to October 17th. And that has been a motion by Mimi, seconded by Wes, I think, who got in there with that. Is there objection to that?
We can bring Brandon a cake, right?
We can have cake in absentia for Brandon.
Thanks.
We can
Will he be
celebrate
there?
him.
What's
To
more
be-
important?
to
What's
be
more
determined.
important?
It sounds
It's a
like Brandon
possibility.
might be there, but we'll see.
All right, Brandon. If you're there, I'll bring the cake. How's that?
Oh,
You know what? That might make it more appealing. Who
What
knows?
kind of cake do you
okay,
like?
okay, all right. Let's take care of that after this vote. Let's deal with this vote
Oh,
first, and then we'll take care
cake
of
is
that.
important, Lauren.
Hey, look at me. I love
First
me
you're
some
against
cake,
wine, and
but
now you're against cake. What kind of
I,
libertarian are you?
Wait, what
I,
if we have wine and cake?
There
oh
you
man,
go.
what if you put them
Why
Yeah.
not
together?
both?
All right. But first, let's vote, and then we'll talk about that. So, is there an objection to shifting that date within the committee here right now?
I have a question. Is it a one-day meeting?
The meeting is typically all day Saturday, but we'll have multiple space on, I think, either side, right? We'll have some space on Sunday, or if we wanted to do a training or an activity or something. Wes?
We have the room for an additional 4 hours on Sunday, and then we have the same cost for hotel nights 2 days before and 2 days after. So people can show up as early as Thursday and stay all the way till like Monday. And you can plan events around the entire weekend, but we will have 8 hours in a special room on Saturday and 4 hours in that same room on Sunday.
Right. Okay, Mimi, you have your hand up.
If we want it.
Sorry, my muting. Let's not forget that we also have time on Saturday night if we wanted to do a fundraising dinner, because that's also part of it. So
Also
we
true.
have it all. We have,
So
I mean,
there's
we have it
open
all.
time
We
on
can
the
do all
weekends to
kinds
do a
of stuff.
variety of things. We're just talking about the
Correct.
weekend of the 17th instead of the weekend of the 7th. So, that being the case, is there any objection to shifting the meeting to October 17th?
Yeah, I'll object.
November.
All right, Joe is objecting. So let's go ahead and roll call vote this. Rebecca, if you would please roll call vote this. So, to be clear, a yes vote here is a vote to shift the meeting to October 17th. A no vote is to leave it on November 7th. Rebecca, go ahead.
Okay, Pat,
Yes.
me, Rebecca, I will vote yes. Mike,
Yes.
Joe,
No.
Brandon,
I'm abstaining.
Francisco,
Yes.
June,
Abstain.
Mark,
Yes.
Wesley,
Yes.
Mimi,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Paul,
I will abstain.
Lauren. The current vote is 9 yeses, 1 no, and 3 abstain.
Was a simple majority vote, right?
It only needs a majority because we're just amending something
So we're already
previously
there.
adopted.
So we're already there. So I do not need to vote. So, okay. So it looks like that then passes. So we will change our meeting then to the 17th of October. That will allow everybody to start to get plane tickets and hotel reservations and stuff like that. I apologize for having to do that to everybody, but thank you for your understanding. Alrighty, so let's move ahead to our next item, which is discussion of results of goals, issues, focus, document, and poll from Kara Smith. This is slated for 15 minutes. So Kara, talk to us about what you wanted to deal with here for 15 minutes.
Okay, I just started the timer.
Okay.
So basically, when I first came aboard, I asked Lauren, what could I jump on board with to help? And it was kind of like, well, choose your own adventure. And I thought, well, maybe that's something that I could help with is us refining some top priorities to keep it from being too much like true libertarian style, of course, every man for himself and his own little, priority and agenda, as well as um, just kind of having that squirrel effect of just going for, we should do this or somebody should do that. It'd be kind of cool if we had a little bit of cohesion and a little bit of a direction. And it's been kind of cool to see also some of the stuff that like Pat and Joe have been writing about strategy. And I think a lot of their insight and thoughts will be really important for the next stage of what I was trying to do. So, which will be more of honing in how we want to do it. Especially if it's something like with membership, it seems like there's been some great stuff being figured out about playing with the data and the CRM information. So if I go over to this real quick, I'm going to pull up the form and see what the results are looking like. So we have, and we don't have to like go with the top three, obviously. I kind of was doing this almost partly as a conversation starter. And then my intention was the board could kind of adopt the top three. And then those of us that are interested get together and start meeting about the actual implementation and how we're going to move towards those. The top vote getter was prioritize external engagement. The next highest was, let's see, what is that? Recruit and develop engaged activists. And then a couple tied, increase libertarian registration and membership and strengthen county affiliates. And as like many people pointed out, these things all overlap and there's almost like a chicken and the egg thing about, which comes first. How do you do one without doing the other? And I think at a certain point, it's one of those things like you got to kind of just start going for one of them and get the ball rolling. And then hopefully it'll, get things going in the other domains. So with that said, I'd love to hear other people's feedback or thoughts. And then if people are open to doing some sort of motion to adopt a top three priorities or issues, I'd love to work with whoever's interested, especially people who have already been kind of doing it on like kind of going steamrolling forward on those things. So whoever wants to start, child.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see the original document, probably because I didn't go and look at it in time. I did see your email, Kara, responding to me about that, but I don't think you sent me the link to the original document. I did read Joe Dean sent a long analysis, basically, of strategic priorities and stuff. I tend to think that membership, registrations, and donors and votes from the public. These are all things that I think we need to focus on all the time in terms of, trying to build them in synchronicity, as Joe was kind of saying. But I also think that they are kind of secondary things. Really, these are to me the things that flow to us naturally when we're doing other things right. When people see us out there being visible and fighting and standing up for liberty, they will be more inclined to vote for us, will be more inclined to join as members, be more inclined to register libertarian, and be more inclined to send us money. Somebody once said something along the lines of like, money in and of itself isn't very interesting. And I think that kind of speaks to this. I think these metrics are interesting to us and important to us as activists in the party, but they're not important to the public. The public cares about the issues and the politics and stuff. And I think really a build it and they will come approach is better than focusing too much on the metrics. Focus on going out there, doing things right, speaking truth to power, proudly representing libertarianism, and we will see the other things accrue to us. I think too much focus on those things in and of themselves is counterproductive. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay, so you don't think it's worthwhile to have like top goals, is what you're saying?
I think Dave produced a very interesting document, if I may start, Child. Dave produced a very interesting document today that he's been distributing, where he's done some data analysis. And some of his conclusions are very interesting, specifically in that specific priorities probably need to shift county to county based on the population of libertarians there and the who voted for Chase and et cetera, et cetera. He's done a variety of analytics there. And I think that he's got some really interesting things to say about this, some intriguing things to add that I think make it difficult for us as a party to say that we're gonna do this one thing as our top thing, because that's not necessarily going to help everybody. So this may need to be targeted out by region and even by county a little bit. for that. But that's just, I don't know if Dave wants to speak to that, but
Yeah.
Star Child and then Mimi, please.
Or
Or well,
let's go
let's
with-
have Dave. Let's have Dave talk about that. Talk about that, Dave, and then we'll come around to Star Child and then Mimi.
Yeah, I just want to make one comment. One thing that ChatGPT came up with, it wasn't based on my input. I gave it other inputs on my hypotheses for it to check, but it segmented the market of our counties by size. And I thought that was interesting because in other volunteer groups, LA and New York City and San Francisco and Boston have similar problems with recruiting foreign exchange student families, where smaller, more rural places don't. And it was kind of a similar thing where smaller counties, many are in the north, don't have big membership, but they have pretty good registrations, far higher than big cities. So it could be that you could stratify the marketplace, so to speak, of counties by how big they are. And I almost think, people to people, the ones in the small counties that are more rural might enjoy talking to each other, even if they're in the north or central. And the bigger
Okay,
cities.
sorry, can I just interrupt you real quick? Because we don't have a ton of time, and I want to keep it to talking rather than about how to implement a priority such as membership. If we could just kind of stick to, if we want to pick top priorities, maybe membership would be one, and then that would be part of the strategy, what you're saying, because I think it's really good, Dave. Like, I love it. I think that's so important, the different counties, and I think that would come on the next step. But I think at this part, it's like choosing what we want to focus on. And if we want to do that, so we can get more cohesive. So if we start collaborating on like the information that you have, that would be like the next step. If that makes sense. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you to be rude or anything. I just want to use the time wisely for the topic that it's supposed to be on.
Yeah. I get that. I think what Lauren was bringing up, and I was trying to echo, is maybe it's not the same for every county.
Right. Yeah. And we're not trying to prescribe. Yeah. And that's something we could figure out. Like, hey, we could figure out, like, we could be breaking down, like, if we decide we want to help, affiliate support or maybe membership's our goal, then we could go, hey, look, it's different per county and look that up and then go into it. Lauren, I know you said Pat, but Mimi hasn't spoke yet, and she had her hand up. I mean, yeah. Sorry, you said Star Child, but Mimi also had her hand up at the same time.
Oh.
And Star Child already talked. Do you think we could go to Mimi?
That's fine.
I think that's reasonable. All right, let's go to Mimi and then Star Child and then Pat.
Okay, so all I was going to say is that I think that there's a lot of good information on what Kara has been doing. I think that we're talking about a whole bunch of things at once. We're talking about county by county. We are not the counties. We are the state party, right? So I think that a lot of what we can come up with our strategic plan is how to help counties. And I would love to have the affiliate, support committee actually be doing something to be able to start helping the counties. And I'm just going to add this really quickly. I am now on the National Affiliate Support Committee. And that's something that I really want to work on is, that national helps the states and the states help the counties. But I think for our purposes right now, we need to come up with what is our strategic plan for the LPC, not for each county individually, but for what we're going to do, also to do for them. I think that we're getting really into weird, weedy things right now. We need to just kind of determine how we're going to do this. And I think that what Kara has done right now is she's set up a priority list of things that we all are kind of working on, but we're not to that next step of what we're going to do at each of those priority things. I had actually been working on that, but as I said at the beginning of the meeting, I got really distracted with, life and stuff.
Sure.
But I would like us to, rather than just, just keep going around in circles, maybe really now that we've worked on this, what Dave has done, what Kara has done, and by the way, what Pat has done with his, I read through his, but in the next couple of weeks, start working in emails or I love a different way than emails, but like another Zoom meeting of trying to consolidate down what we really want to do so we can come back to this committee and make an actual list of what to do. So that's what maybe I'm all over the place here, but I think that we just need to, we're not going to figure it out right this second.
A conversation like this, starts a little bit all over the place. Yeah.
Right. So I think that, we just need to maybe, but I love what Kara has done, and I love what Dave has done. And then frankly, Pat, he's put in a yeoman's try with like the whole chat GPT thing. So I'm just saying, I think that we're not going to figure it out tonight. And I probably am all over the place, but that's what I had to say.
Okay. All right. Let's do Star Child and then Pat and then June.
So
we have 3 minutes left, by the way.
Yeah, keep in mind, we're running out of time. So quickly. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that the top priority response listed in the poll that people selected was the sort of outward facing activism or outreach. I don't remember how it was worded now, but I think I had written in another priority, or wanted to write in another priority. It didn't give me another field in the poll, but I think really our top priority, and this kind of goes to what Dave was saying about different counties, different approaches. The same is true with states. California is overwhelmingly a blue state, leans liberal, and I think this dovetails nicely for us with what we need as a party and a movement, which is more balance to our outreach, so that we're appealing at least as much to people on the left as to people on the right. This has historically been a problem in our party and our movement. We've appealed more, felt more natural working with Republicans and people on the right. And I think this is part of what brought the whole Mises Caucus debacle the past few years, because when people come into the party new, they typically are not fully libertarian. And so you bring in people on the right, it's like a ship taking on water on starboard, keels over far enough and it sinks. So I think that, and keeping the party sustainably libertarian and hardcore in our messaging, and reinforcing the idea of libertarianism versus authoritarianism as the important paradigm rather than left versus right, but also making sure that we appeal to the left-leaning majority in California and outreach and so forth to them at least as much, if not more so, than to the right, to correct our historic imbalance. That would be my top.
Okay. All right, let's leave some space for everybody else. We're running short on this piece. So Pat, please.
Well, I got to be quick. Kara, I think you've done the most amazing job, and you're the most considerate and kind person. This has been one of the hardest things. ChatGPT released an update, and it totally could not do a strategic plan. So I took what it couldn't do and I ran it through Copilot. And Mimi is absolutely correct. This is a rat hole. It's just going down and down and down. It cannot produce a strategic plan. But I think I read Joe Dean's strategic plan. Is like, oh shit, he puts me to shame. So I think we kind of come to the conclusion that Kara and Joe and Mimi and I'd love to run it together. And I love email. I hate all these Google Docs and shared docs and Signal. But I think what I got through Copilot had some very good suggestions. I think what Joe Dean ran through came very close. I couldn't read Kara's because I didn't want to fill out a form, a Google Doc. But I would love to work with these 4 people and see if we can come up with a strategic plan that has ideas to grow the party. And I really appreciate you, Kara. I think you're wonderful.
I'm intrigued at the growing synergy here. June.
We're at 15 minutes, by the way. If you guys want to extend, that's fine, but I just wanted to let you know.
Move to extend by 5 minutes.
Okay, a motion for Paul to extend for 5. Did I hear Mark second that? Okay. All right. The objection? All right. June, please, and then Brandon.
I think that Kara did a wonderful job identifying priorities. Priorities are not a strategic plan. The tail is wagging the dog. This whole thing started as how do we develop a strategic plan? A strategic plan is identifying goals and metrics to see how well you're meeting those goals. And that's not what's going on here. I have no problem with identifying things that people are interested in and want to work on, but that's not a strategic plan. I don't know how we get a strategic plan at this point. Sorry.
Okay. All right, Brandon.
So I mean, there's a lot going on here. And like I agree with Dave in like how to approach certain things, like with county by county, because there's a lot of differences in California from north to south, and even from the coast to the inward, like inland. And we do need a strategic plan, and activism is should be a priority. But it's like if you're not giving people something to vote for, and that could be bills or different things, but it's still nice to vote for somebody. Even as like a activist myself, it's like at least one, or something. But activism is a big thing too. That's what we're losing on with the left. They have the No Kings protests, and they're doing the anti-ICE stuff, and it's like they're getting recognition, right? And they're making a ruckus and making noise, and we're not doing that. So it would be nice. I mean, it's like the chicken and the egg. It's like what comes first, and I don't know. I get like all sides of it, but ironically too, it's like Mises style, like decentralization project thing is probably a good idea for us to do on like a state scale too. If people will take up mantles in different counties and stuff, but I don't know. It's a big topic for us to discuss in later times too. It's an animal.
It is a
That's
big
it, though.
it is a big topic, but the conversation has to start somewhere. I'm glad to see it start here tonight. Any other comments? We have just a couple of minutes left here in our extended time.
I don't know if Pat's raised his hand or if it's a leftover.
It's a leftover.
I just
Okay.
had,
Hey, I've just learned how to raise my hand. I don't know how to lower it.
Joe is waving his hand in the camera. Joe,
I just have just a brief question. Since we're not going to decide anything tonight, I think we should, since there was a poll, I'd like to see the actual results of the poll, the list of the choices that were offered and how many people voted for each. Because all I heard was that certain things were at the top, but I don't know by how much or anything like that. So if that could be shared by email or something, that would be nice.
Kara, can you share those results? Not right this second, but in the email.
Yeah, I think I can. I also just copied it into the chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. Maybe you have your hand up.
Pretty decisive.
I was going to actually ask about that, but also I was just going to say that, one of the things June said is that we don't have a strategic plan right now because we don't have measurable goals. No, we don't, because we're at the beginning of this. I think that's what we're working on. And I think that we do need to have measurable goals. But what we have right now, nobody is saying it's a strategic plan. Once we figure that out, we come up with measurable goals. That's all I had to say.
All right.
And I think that, my goodness gracious, we have really beat this thing into the ground.
Well, our time is about to expire on this item. So if there's no further comment, we will move ahead.
I'll just close out by saying I think a couple things were definitely emphasized as being important to the group. And I'll reach out to, if they're interested, they can always deny me, Mimi, Pat, Dave, and Joe to see about starting to make some more concrete goals for those priorities.
Okay.
Please include me too, Kara.
Okay. I think there was a thumbs up in the camera there. I think she got your start job. Okay. So let's move ahead. Our next item is Action Alert Facility. This is from June Jenis. We got 15 minutes on the agenda for this. So June, go ahead and tell us what you're thinking about here.
As I said before, it's wonderful to have a calendar, but it only works if people look at it. And that means people have to seek it out. And especially if time is short, there may not be enough time for people to find out about something important. In working with some of the ranked choice groups around the country, I've seen that a number of them have what they call action alert networks or something along those lines, which is a way to tell people, hey, there's something coming up really quick and you need to do something now. And I think we need to develop a facility like that. I know that Nation Builders supposedly has a way to contact your representatives, but I don't know if it has anything like an action alert network. But, I was asked on relatively short notice to try and turn people out for the Huntington Beach was it? I forgot. Anyway, meeting of the council, because it's very important to steer that council in the right direction. And it was very short of time. I did post it on the calendar, but I doubt anybody saw it. I did post something about a fun event that people might want to go to and can help RCV, which is the Beatles tribute, which is later in the month. But again, no one is going to see that unless they deliberately choose to pull up the calendar and look at it. And so I think there's just a hole in our communications facility that we need to plug. I'm not sure how. When I first posted the idea on the discussion group, I mentioned some things to consider, like do we alert all members, members who have not opted out, members who've only opted in? There's a lot of considerations. You don't want to, drown people and stuff, but you want to make sure you're reaching people when it's important. So this was just an attempt to get people thinking about it. Suggestions, I don't really know where to take it from here. I just see a need that needs to be filled at this point. End of sermon.
Okay. Follow-up commentary, thoughts on this?
Well, I would go to the communications committee. So put it on Facebook, put it on all social media.
I don't do Facebook.
No, but we have a communications committee, which I am not on.
All right.
So how do you submit it to them, or is it just Wesley? I don't know.
Mentioned it, the committee can do what they want with it.
Well, you don't have to mention it, you need to send it to them. People send me stuff and they mention it, it's like it goes, well, I need a
Wesley's here.
thought.
If he thinks the committee should look at it, he can. I'm not going to tell people what to do. I'm just saying there's a need. Someone needs to fill it. You have pointed out that probably this is in the domain of the communications committee, and I agree. But I'm not going to tell the communications committee what to do.
Well, is there a protocol how to communicate with the communications committee? Because otherwise it's easy to get lost. Because I lose a lot of things. Is Wesley still here?
My understanding of the communications committee is they're pretty much always looking for content. So I mean,
but how do you send it to them?
That's
the email to the communications committee, Pat. You've used it in the past. Quit. Just stop.
There is an
yourself
email.
sound really.
Maybe if the communications committee was a little polite and didn't insult people, we could communicate with them.
Hold on, everybody, hold on. All right, there is an email address to the communications committee. They're all going to get it. I know that I post a lot of stuff on Discord. The state Discord, they've got a channel on Discord that's ready for like memes and links and all kinds of stuff.
So the solution is to send it to the communications committee and hope you're not personally attacked.
Well, if there's an email address to use, I think that is the most efficient thing to do. I think
but you have a risk of being personally attacked and insulted by the communications committee.
I think that risk is inherent to any conversation with libertarians.
But it should not be.
But
we should treat each other with respect and dignity.
There is a degree of professionation that we need to
be. It is totally lacking in this committee.
I don't know that totally lacking is accurate.
It is lacking in this committee. We do not treat each other with respect and dignity. We insult each other for honest questions.
Hold on, Pat. Who's we?
The whole committee is.
I think this committee broadly is very collegial and very professional. We are occasionally going to bump up against each other.
You say the word blunt. Blunt means rude.
And some of us have some sharp elbows, but we're libertarians. And sooner or later, as a libertarian, you're going to run into somebody with some sharp elbows.
Libertarians won't grow if we're rude to each other.
That's a fair point.
Yes.
So professionalism is a positive thing. Thank you, Pat.
Politeness, not professionalism.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do.
All right, Mimi's got her hand up, and then we're going to go to Star Child. All right, Mimi.
Yeah, stop. I mean, for Christ's sake, stop.
Well, no, wait a minute.
We can try to get along, but let's just. Oh my God.
I just talked to Pat about that. We just talked about it. All right.
No, I understand that, but it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. My hand was up before you did that, but just, oh my God.
Okay.
When I ran a company, we had a no festering policy. Mimi, if something is festering, say it and I will respect it. I will not interrupt. I will respect whatever grievance you have.
So all right, let it rip, Mimi.
And I will be, let it out.
My grievance is that I think, never mind, whatever.
No, say it. I'm encouraging you to say it because it means healthy to say your grievance and I will respect it.
Well, Pat, I have a question.
Sure.
The is there a view? Is there a viewpoint? Is there a lens whereby Wes is not letting stuff fester? That
I
he
don't
just
know. I
that he
can't
just
understand that.
expresses what he's thinking, and sometimes that comes off a little brusque.
No, it comes out rude. Because like I asked a question about where these people came from, and where they came from. He's like, I'm going to report you to the Secretary of State.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I think the goal, I think as is common, the solution to speech that you don't like is more speech, right? It's to continue the conversation and talk past whatever the brusque thing is that happens.
I'll bring this up
and get
in
your
front of
point
the
going.
entire XCOM right now.
Thank you, Wes. I appreciate it.
So, Pat, you are consistently, time after time again, for the last 5 months, begun scraping data and information from every source you can for your own private marketing database. You scrape information out of Neon. You scrape information from National. You ingest information from every source that comes to the XCOM, and you stick it into your own private database for your own personal gain. It has nothing to do with this, nothing to do with the committee. So when you email me at 9 o'clock in the morning asking why there's 300 people on a list somewhere that's not on the list that I send you every week that you're allowed to use,
Parliamentary procedure.
there's a huge
Call
problem.
for the orders of the day. We are off topic.
No, we're very much on topic.
I think this has been festering for a bit.
Yeah, so let the pus come out.
The topic was whether we should have a look at an action alert network. As far as communicating with the committee, everyone on the committee is here. They have heard what I and others have had to say. I don't think that we have to send special email to the committee for them to understand that at least some people think we need an action alert network. So let's drop it and keep up with and go on with the next item on the agenda.
No, I've been attacked here, and I was trying to listen. Let me tell you.
What's the time on the agenda item?
Yeah, where's our
15
time?
minutes on action
we're
alert.
7 minutes and 40 seconds in.
All right, give me 30 seconds, if you will.
All
I
right.
don't even have access to the national database. I have access to a list that Lauren sent over, and it didn't match with what I have. So I asked Wesley, what is the status of these names? And he said he is going to report me to the Secretary of State. It was like, if these are members who are not showing up in the database, I thought it was a logic error or whatever. I make no money off of the...
You're lying.
The Libertarian. I am not lying.
Hold
I'm
on.
saying that.
You're lying. I'll pull up the email chain and we'll put it on the screen for everybody, Pat.
Go ahead, Wes.
Of order.
You did not ask for permission. You took the data. You
Where?
emails out to people.
Okay, hang on.
And then you were willing to give me results about how well you did or whatever your reasoning behind it is. But Pat, you are not allowed to take information. You're not allowed to just take.
From where, Wes?
Take data. I'm just going to
From
take
where?
it all, ship it into my computer, let it live there.
Okay.
I'm going to
From
use
where,
it whatever I want.
Wesley?
I'm going to put it all into Chat GPT.
Wesley?
I'm going to share everybody's information.
think-
All right, guys.
Wesley,
think
where
that-
am I taking data? And I resent being attacked. And Lauren, you need to protect
Guys,
me
hold
because you're
up.
the chair.
Hang on, guys. Hang on.
We're off
Okay.
the agenda,
Well,
but I think you guys should talk like maybe at a later time for
We've
sure.
tried to talk.
With
Well,
mediation with Lauren or something.
and it sounds like this might be
Thank you, Mimi.
something that
That's
needs
right.
to.
Pat, you are the reason why everyone lost access to the reports on Neon.
Okay,
You.
hold
No,
up.
we
You
can't
are-
because we
hold
are
up,
charged
hold
as
up.
XCOM members. We have rights to it. You're
Every-
taking it. You're acting unilaterally, Wesley.
Okay, hold up.
And you don't have that right.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
This is
Well, somebody did, and you just said you did.
No, I said you are the sole reason why every XCOM member lost their access to the reports.
There's a serious problem
You.
here, Lauren, and you need
Okay,
to deal
guys.
with it.
If there wasn't a data leak, there would be no need for
There
access.
is no
to
data
all right.
leak.
Shut up, all of you. All right. Now look, guys. Clearly, you guys have some beef about the way that this is happening.
Well,
I
he's
respect
lying.
that you. Hey, I respect that you both got beef about what's going on here.
No, Lauren,
If
it's
this
not.
is something that is rising to the level of something that needs to be disciplinary, we've got a process for that. We got a judicial
Good.
committee for that kind of thing.
Well, do we?
So-
I'd like to invoke
Well,
it.
hold on. So if that's a place that this needs to go, then that's a place that this needs to go. This is a conversation that you guys want to have with me in a separate meeting. Let's have that conversation.
Well, we
in a
tried
separate
that
meeting.
before, and he wouldn't do it.
Okay, hold on. But we're running out of time here on this. Orders of the day have been called, and we need to kind of move this thing forward. Right now, the topic here is this action alert facility, and it's gotten a little chippy. Let's go ahead and pull away from that for a second. Let's go to Star Child for a minute. And if you got something on this action alert, Star Child, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree with what June said. I think first getting all the stuff into the calendar, all the committee meetings and everything would help, and then getting more access to the calendar distributed through whatever means possible. But I did quickly want to say I do think there should be zero tolerance for threatening to report libertarians to government agencies. Wes, you may have legitimate concerns, but to me that was uncalled for, and some of it, I mean, just flat out like accusing people of lying in the middle of the meeting. I would encourage you to tone it down somewhat.
I have evidence.
Okay,
I have 5 months of collected evidence.
Okay, all right.
If I remember correctly, Pat's doing the Be Libertarian thing kind of on his own was not his first choice. He wanted it to be in the name of the party and more incorporated, and I thought it was you and the communications committee that said, no, you got to do your thing independently because we're not working.
No, that
together.
is incorrect.
Maybe this could be an agenda item on our next meeting or something.
I think maybe this does need to be an agenda item. We need to lay this out for everybody so that people understand the paper trail here of what's going on. So let's take that under advisement.
In relation to June's thing, because we still did have a couple of minutes, and I was just going to say, June, when I reach out to the people about doing strategy and stuff, I'll try to have that be something we talk about. Having a flow of information outward, I think is what you were looking for.
Timely flow is what I'm concerned about.
Timely flow. Yeah, I'm going to write a note, and then when I meet with them, I'll bring that up.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other specific commentary on June's action alert idea? Okay, let's move to another piece. All right, let's talk about candidate endorsements here. I don't think we have any. Do we have candidate endorsements we need to take up here? Okay. All right, so let's move ahead to our amended piece. 2026 statewide ballot proposition endorsements. Joe sent out an email about this. Joe, why don't you go ahead and give us the summary of
So by my count, there are 8 things that are on the ballot on which we have not already taken a position. And I listed them there. And I would like to move that we endorse Proposition 43, which is a compromise that came between the legislature and the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and which, according to the Mercury News at least, was endorsed by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. It would, like something that we did endorse previously, increase the vote requirement for certain taxes from 1/2 to 2/3. So I think we're in favor of that idea, even though it's a slightly different version. I'd like us to endorse it.
Making taxes harder to produce seems reasonable. Kara, we are on the item. I'm working from my agenda draft from the Google Doc. The item is statewide ballot proposition endorsements. So where Joe has moved that we endorse Proposition 43, which is...
Did we miss Star Child's motions on here?
We moved this ahead of Star Child's motions.
Sorry, my daughter came and asked me a question, so I got it. I'm with you now.
All right. Okay. So, and that's worth noting, we've got 15 minutes for this. So if you would please, Kara. All right. So the motion here on the floor is to endorse Proposition 43, which increases the vote thresholds required for tax increases locally. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Second from Mark Hinkle. Is there any objection to endorsing Prop 43? Okay. We'll go ahead and take the position of endorsing Prop 43.
The next one I would like us to take a position on is Proposition 1, which is called the Veterans and Affordable Housing Bond Act of 2026. This is a thing that was put on by the legislature to provide loans for something that sounds like they think is a good cause, but we're against the government funding thing. So I think we should take a position against that.
Second.
We have a motion to endorse Proposition 1 and a second from Mark Hinkle.
To oppose
Excuse me,
Proposition.
to oppose Proposition 1. Sorry, motion from Joe to oppose Proposition 1 with a second from Mark Hinkle. Is there objection to that?
Is there a
And
discussion?
I move to that we reject all of them that say bond measure just out of hand.
Well, let's move through them one at a time, just so we all know what we're doing.
That's not useful because there aren't other ones that say that.
But I hear what you're saying, June. But it's worth noting. It's worth moving through them one at a time, just so we all know what we're doing. So I'm not hearing any opposition to Proposition 1. To opposing
I would like
Proposition
to add that I think we should provide an explanation. Otherwise, it just seems like a knee-jerk reaction.
Well, I think broadly the libertarian opposition to bonds is that it represents the government borrowing money and collateralizing it with your house.
I think we should put some detail in it, though.
I don't think we're going to write that now. We have.
Yeah,
well, I know, but I think
those details can certainly be produced. Yeah, I mean, we'll put up
like
this.
I'm trying to work on this one here. They won't respond to me how to write a ballot argument. Why are we opposed to a bond measure? There's meat to the matter, and I think we need to provide it for the voters to take us seriously. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, we probably should do that, but that's not part of this
disagree with you.
motion.
I don't disagree with you, but I think that this is the first step towards the production of a voter guide that then will explain all of those things better.
Can we do it? I just suggest that it be forthcoming.
I think that's a great idea. Then we can deal with that. As
I've caused enough trouble with this meeting, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right, Joe. So I think there was no objection to opposing Prop 1. We will oppose Prop 1 officially as a party. Joe, Prop 2?
Okay, so this one is slightly harder to understand. There's some sort of an idea of a rainy day fund in the state budgets that's supposed to be like filled up in good years and drawn down in bad years, and there's some size that it's supposed to be, and they want to increase the size. And the critics of it are saying that that's just going to allow them to spend more money in bigger batches, and it's going to lead to more spending overall. I'm not an expert in this, but it sounds like increasing any fund is not a good thing. It's not something we want to do. And they should be forced to cut back when they have lower taxes. They shouldn't be given ways to get around it.
I tried to read this one, and everything about this just feels like it's math that can be gamed. Nothing about it feels like something that's actually legitimate.
Okay, well, if nobody can persuade me otherwise, I want to move to oppose Proposition 2.
All right, we're going to oppose Proposition 2. Second from June and Mark together. We'll let Rebecca sort that out. Is there an objection to opposing Proposition 2? All right, we'll oppose Proposition 2.
So Joe, Proposition 4 is a public financing thing. Apparently, the way things are now, certain cities, I guess it's some kind of charter or home rule or something, cities are allowed to create a public financing for elections system, but most cities are not. This would enable any city, I guess general law city or whatever they're called, to do that. It doesn't require that they do that, but it would allow any city to do that. I think we are pretty clearly against public financing of elections, so we should oppose this. So I move to oppose Proposition 4.
Second.
Motion to oppose Proposition 4, seconded by Mark Hinkle. Is there objection to opposing Proposition 4? All right, we'll come down in opposition to Proposition 4. Joe, go ahead.
I'm going to skip over. Well, no, now we're all getting into controversial ones. I'm gonna move, although I suspect there'll be some people who don't like this, that we move to oppose Proposition 39, which requires additional voter identification and citizenship verification and things relating to register to vote and actual voting, like saying you have to bring an ID card and things like that. I know that this is really popular among the MAGA people, and nationally they're pushing for these things to be imposed on all the states. I don't think that's a good reason for us to do it. I don't think we have a problem like that here, and it would just be a lot of extra bureaucracy. It would be a lot of bad feeling for very little gain. So I don't think we should endorse it. I think we should oppose it. I think we should oppose it.
Okay.
I second.
We have a motion to oppose Prop 39 and a second from Mimi. Looks like we've got some hands up here, so maybe we want some commentary here before we take this to resolution. I have Kara and then Pat and then June in order at the top of my screen here. So Kara.
I'm not opposed to what Joe is suggesting. I would just ask that maybe in our way of communicating our opposition to it, that we do so kind of speaking to what people are worried about and the nuance of the issue, if that makes sense.
Okay. Sure. All right, Pat.
We need to produce some meat on these subjects. Prop 39 is meant to discourage low information voters, which are called Democrats. So we just can't say we oppose it. We need to put why, which is kind of like what I earlier said. So what is going to happen to these recommendations to vote yes or no on certain props? I mean, who's going to read it? Where is it going to be published?
Well, I think this is the first step toward producing a voter guide that then will be distributed out through the communications committee.
Who's going to do the voter guide?
Well, I think that anybody who wants to do the voter guide can participate in the production of the voter guide.
Well, we've got two newsletters. Either of them could do it.
Yeah.
So where is the information going to be stored?
Well, right at first it'll be stored in the meeting minutes.
On our website too. I would assume on our website as well.
I have no access to the website.
This would be a great
Somebody
thing to stick on the website. Yeah. Okay.
We can put it on the website.
Yeah. All right. June, your hand is up.
Yeah, I would not have an objection to identification if it were costless in all senses to obtain such identification, but that simply isn't true. You have to pay for them in many cases. Even if they were free, you have to usually go someplace. For people often have to take off from work to be able to go and do that. So the objection is not, from my point of view, is not to having to produce an ID, but in the difficulty of getting that ID to present. So given that, I think we need to oppose it because no one's proposing a way that makes it easy to get that ID.
Well, to be fair to the other side, they do say in the description of the thing that there will be a state ID available for people who don't have other IDs and that there will not be a charge for it.
But how are they going to get it?
I don't know. I'm just saying that they're already attempting to answer that objection.
And in many states, they are enforcing that by making it very hard for someone to go and get the ID, even though it's free. That's my concern. But so I'm on your side, Joe.
Okay, I'm just trying to be honest that they do have.
It's not because the IDs are bad. It's because it's difficult to get one that's acceptable.
While I don't disagree, for myself, man, we as libertarians place a high premium on credentialing and proving that you are who you say you are to vote. And this feels like it goes that direction. And so while I will not oppose opposition to this, I think I echo Kara that we need to be very careful about how we phrase our opposition to this. I think that's all I've got to say about that. Pat, you have your hand back up, and then let's bring this thing to a vote. And move
very, very briefly, when I get my real ID, I mean, my husband pays the gas, electric, water, all that crap. I had one mortgage payment, which is now paid off. I had to bring the mortgage payment to get my real ID, which I thought was very intrusive. Right now, I would not qualify for a real ID. So I'm going to say yay, June.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So if our comment then is dealt with, the motion on the floor is to oppose Prop 39 with a second. Do we have objection to opposing Prop 39? Okay. All right. We will take a position in opposition to Proposition
and the
39.
last one that I wanted to make is Proposition 44 requires community health clinics spend 90% of revenue on program services. I remember this coming up over and over again. I think what it really is there's some unions or something that are there's some special interest people who are trying to prevent the community health clinics from lobbying and things like that. And so they're trying to make sure their argument is that if it's supposed to, that those things are not supposed to be doing anything except providing help. I think that's micromanagement.
Wow. It's like unions trying to ace each other out of
I
lobbying.
don't know exactly
That's
what it is. I just
hilarious.
know
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we opposed it before, but I don't remember the details. Somebody who remembers
I
more about it.
second it. I do remember it. I second it. They do this every election. It's like this really creepy, weird thing that they try to micromanage healthcare with unions. It's super creepy. I don't like it. I second it. And it's
Okay.
every 2 years that this comes up.
Right.
I mean, literally.
All right. So we've got a motion then to oppose Proposition 44 with a second. Is there objection?
At least we don't have the dialysis thing over and over again anymore. What happened to that
Is
one?
there objection
Yeah,
to
that's
opposing?
another one, but yes.
All right. Is there objection to opposing Proposition 44? All right. Then we'll go ahead and adopt that
Okay, so
position.
the other two that I did not really have a strong opinion over, somebody else might care. Proposition 5 has to do with recall. Right now, if there's a recall, there's a question on the ballot, should the incumbent be recalled? And then together with that, there's like an instant election for who should replace him, and the incumbent can't be on that list. The proposal is to change it so all the voters see is yes or no to recall the person. And then whatever happens after that, by
Like it
whatever
sets up a
procedure.
succession kind of deal. Yeah.
So if
1
in some
minute
cases,
warning.
so in some cases, like for governor, there's a established rule that it would be the lieutenant governor takes over. Other things would probably be a special election or an appointment or something like that. So I don't have a strong feeling of whether that's better or worse. Somebody else has an opinion. Feel free to argue.
Yeah, I do.
Starchild, looks like you have your hand up.
Yeah, I think this is a bad change. I think it would make recalls less likely to succeed. And in general, I think libertarians usually want recalls to succeed. You know, we want voters to be able to get the crooks out of there. And I think when there's candidates on the ballot, competing for that position, it helps aid the recall process because those candidates are going to be out there saying, yes, on the recall, vote for me. Whereas if it's just a straight up or down with no details about how it happens, that leaves the door open for the governor, the legislature, whoever to cook something up in the back rooms about how exactly the recall gets put into effect. I think having the voters do it right away, the way it is now, is better, and we should not support this measure.
We're at 15 minutes,
Okay,
by the way.
fair enough. All right. Well, very quickly before I go to June, we'll entertain a motion to take 5 more minutes on this.
Move to extend by 5.
Joe moves to extend by 5 minutes. Sounds like a second from Mark. Is there objection to taking 5 more minutes? All right, June, your hand is up.
I lost track of where I was at. I knew what we're talking about.
We're talking about Proposition 5.
The
We're talking about
recall.
Proposition 5,
I
the
think
recall
that
procedure.
I think the reason this came up is because the last time we had a recall, which was for our governor, we had so many people jumped into that election, which was a first past the post election, and nobody really knew what to do with it. There have been several proposals that if you want to do something like this, it at least ought to be by ranked choice. I don't think we're getting anywhere with just getting rid of the choices. On the other hand, from a libertarian perspective, having an office vacant for a while, this sounds pretty good. So, I don't see that we need to rush to fill it.
Proposition 5, in fairness, Proposition 5 has procedures for people to fill in the offices until such time as an election can be held. It does not leave the election. It does not leave the office vacant, which would be awesome, but that is not what Proposition 5 is prescribing.
So, I mean, but I really don't think unless they address how you're going to deal with with a list of candidates who want the job, it's not a very complete motion. And therefore, I would reject it just on the basis that it's not enough.
All right, so it sounds like we're hearing a motion from June to oppose Proposition 5. Is that what we're hearing?
Please take no stand. I don't know. I mean, I just don't think it's worth
We don't have to
endorsing.
vote if we don't want to take a stand.
We don't have to vote on anything.
Okay.
Okay. All right. If you don't have a motion, June, that's fine. All right.
We can
Carrie,
just
your hand was
not
up
have a
and down.
motion and then we don't have a position.
Yeah, we could just leave it. Okay. All right.
So then the last one is Proposition 45, which modifies the somehow streamlines environmental review procedures. I guess it depends on how you feel about that. There's a whole list of things that are supposed to be important that we don't want slowed down, including housing and schools and health facilities and highways. And it's like practically everything you'd want to build. And this would say, if you want to build any of those things, you get some sort of expedited environmental review. So it probably depends on whether you think the current environmental review thing is causing unreasonable problems.
Yes.
All
Sounds
right.
good on the face of it. I wonder about the details.
The obvious objection is this just means big developers are going to build all kinds of crazy things all over the place. That's
All right, so
that
I
that
looked
will
into
be
it a little
the
bit.
thing. But what?
I said I looked into it a little bit.
Yeah,
The
we
California
could take
environmental
these up
quality
next time.
assurance process is very long and lengthy, and it has created bottlenecks in rebuilding houses for people that have had their houses burnt to the ground in the Palisades fire. Up here, out in, towards Weed, I think I can't remember the name of the town. Even half of Santa Rosa that burnt down 5 or 7 years ago. People are having a really, really hard time rebuilding their own homes, getting money from the insurance because of the California environmental quality assurance process. It's extraordinarily long and lengthy. Coming out of the cannabis industry, that's something that we had to deal with on a yearly basis. Getting CEQAs done it's hard, it's expensive, it takes a lot of time, and just finding the qualified environmental people to do it, depending on where you live, it's not so easy. For me, was always easy because my wife's the district conservationist, but you know, for a lot of people, it's a really hard process.
So would you
It
want
takes a lot of time.
us to take a position in favor of this?
I don't know enough about like political standpoints, but I do know that anything that streamlines the sequel process is going to be good for everyone in the state.
I'll
Yeah.
give
All
you
right, so
two.
here's a little more information.
Okay.
This
All
is the
right.
list of the types of projects
Okay.
that would apply. So it's like everything except data centers. Water, hospital and clinics, clean energy and electricity, housing of all types, roads, bridges, and transit, wildfire prevention and resilience, public schools and educational facilities, broadband and telecommunications infrastructure. Actually, I guess agriculture is one. Is pot factories are one of the things it doesn't list, right? And along with data centers, but
Of course, the weed people take it in the shorts. Of course.
Question.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
It's-
We have some hands up here. Dave's got his hand up, but we have Kara and June first. I'm coming to you, Dave. Kara, quickly. We're running out of time. Yeah.
I was just gonna say maybe if it's not like a really clear one that we don't have to just make a full-on endorsement. I like the idea of kind of like Mimi said she's good at writing ballot arguments. Maybe some of them we actually look at the nuance, like this sounds good ideally, however, the government can still mess it up this way, for an example.
I think there's nothing wrong with taking a position in a voter guide for libertarians. Vote your conscience. I think that's a totally reasonable position for us to take. June, you have your hand up.
It's anything that makes the process easier is good. To that extent, I support it. But it sort of creates two classes of citizens, the people who come under the current list of that's in there and those who don't. And I don't like that. So, but, I don't want to prevent the people who really need the help, relief from a really bad process from getting it just because this doesn't deal with everything that it should. So in that sense, I would favor endorsing it at this point.
All right, Dave, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I'd like more time to read it and understand it. It strikes me that without knowing the details, if the government added a bunch of environmental reviews, does this take away what they put in place, or does it have a long list of new exceptions to what they should otherwise be reforming anyway?
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm not hearing motions to deal with this, and I think our time is expiring.
Okay, thank you.
So, all right. So, thank you very much. Thank you, June and Starchild. We're moving along. Our time has expired on this agenda item. So, let's go ahead. Next on the agenda is endorsement of AB 1537. This was a Starchild motion.
No,
from
next
last month.
is endorse undo top two.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I had
also.
that in a different line here. Okay. So next up is initiative 2600004 to undo top two. June, you want to tell us about this?
The obvious. I mean, this is the only way short term we're going to get a line on the general election ballot. I don't hold out a lot of hope either for the initiative or for it passing if it gets on the ballot. But I think we need to stand firmly in saying that small parties need a way to get on the general election ballot, and this would do it. If it should actually pass, we still have to keep our eyes open, because if you read the summary that I sent out to people on the discussion list, it's leaving to the state to develop the procedures to do this. And one of our problems is takeover. So if we are forced to have a public primary and cannot block people from participating because they haven't been libertarians long enough, it encourages people to register libertarian, vote in our primary, and choose the worst candidate so that that person goes up against their candidates. So it's a mixed blessing, but I think at this point it's best to endorse it. And then the next question would become, well, what are we going to do in a way of supporting it? But that's for another day.
Okay, so I'm hearing, June, that you are moving that we support this initiative.
No, second.
Okay, we have second on Star Child. Looks like we have some discussion here. Dave had his hand up first, and then Pat. Dave.
Well, I thought we had a lawsuit, and I know part of it got pitched, but what status of the lawsuit on top two?
I don't think that anything that survived would help us, but I don't remember the details at this point, Dave.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details either, but Richard Winger said basically, yeah, we lost it. The judge didn't rule in our favor.
Yeah, it would not guarantee, nothing that's cooking right now would guarantee that we would have a spot on the general election ballot for all of our candidates. And that's really what we want. I mean, I've spoken a lot about the fact that I don't think it really helps to have candidates in the primary, but it is important that people see Libertarian on the general election ballot. And that's the main reason I think we should support this, because we would get that.
Okay. All right, Pat, you have your hand up
I can
next.
tell you that, just really quickly, the only thing that was still up for contention was write-ins in the November ballot. The rest of it was already struck down.
Okay.
The rest of everything we were about was struck down.
Okay. All right, Pat, you have your hand up.
Thank you. Very quickly, I think we should recall it the only two, not the top two. And it was in the strategic plan that I drafted, but it might have been a victim of Copilot's editing. And so it needs to be in the strategic plan. So I'm going to talk to Kara, my new best friend.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion to endorse this initiative from June. I think it was seconded by Star Child. Oh, as a point of order, can Star Child second this thing? Because he is not presently seated, because we're all here. Or wait. No, I think he is seated
Richard
because
left.
Richard left. Okay. All right. We're good.
Right.
So Star Child is seated because Richard left. All right. So that being the case, that's the motion that's on the floor right now. Do we have objection to endorsing this initiative to undo top two? All right. Then we will go ahead and endorse that initiative, which sounds like a fine idea. Okay.
I will let Steve know that we have endorsed it and ask him what he wants us to do in the way of help.
I think the first thing that you can do, June, is to write a press release about it, because you are the one who understands it
premature.
best.
That's premature. Steve has just got the word today. He needs to put out a press release first.
Okay, well, you start drafting something.
Based on what he does, we come in. It's his show. We're just helping. So
I think
yes,
you should definitely start jotting down some notes so that you can swing on in there behind him, because that will be important. Okay, so endorsement next is our endorsement of AB 1537. This is a Star Child motion. This was passed along from last month, so people had some time to follow the links and read about it. Star Child, go ahead and take a few minutes and give us the summary. Was it 2 months ago? Okay.
Noticed it. Keeps getting bumped.
But here it is. Okay.
So yeah, it's basically just seemed like something, the pretty obvious thing that it would be good to support. It's kind of along the lines of the Defend the Guard legislation that libertarians in many states are working on to limit the availability of National Guard personnel in California to be called up by the feds. Seems.
Well, I don't know that that's super accurate. I think I see where you're going with it, but what it looks like to me, am I looking at the right one? 1537. Okay. What this does is it prohibits peace officers from taking on secondary employment with ICE. So it's not really about extra deputization or being called up to duty or anything. It keeps them from working for ICE on the side, which I think is still totally something that we should oppose. But let's just be clear about what it is that we're opposing. So that being the case, does everybody understand what we're talking about here? Pat, you have your hand up?
This question has always bothered me. When I look at Star Child's window, the sun is out. It's 8:30. It's pitch dark here in San Diego. Star Child, why is there sun coming out of your window?
It's his grow light.
Sun always shines for me.
Geography.
No, it's yeah, I can't really answer that question. Probably at a higher elevation than you are, maybe. So
No, that's
like
not how it
No,
works.
no,
Further
it's
west.
geography.
Further west.
And north.
I know, but it's been
San-
dark here for like an hour.
San Francisco is at a
That's
much
true,
higher
we are
latitude
farther
than San
west.
Diego.
If you look
Well,
at
let there be light. Thank you for entertaining my stupid
right.
question.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we have a motion from Star Child to endorse AB 1537. That motion's been sitting out here for a while. Do we have a second for this?
One second.
We have a second from Mike Van Roy. Okay, do we have objection to endorsing AB 1537? All right, no secondary employment with ICE. We'll go ahead and call that passed. Next on our agenda is the endorsement of AB 1627. Go ahead, and if you want to speak to this for a second, Star Child.
Again, similar measure. I think someone else actually brought this to our attention. It might have been Mike. I can't remember now, but basically along the same lines of limiting federal immigration enforcers from working in California law enforcement. Seems like an obvious one that we should support.
Was that a motion?
Okay, yes. So we have a motion then to endorse AB 1627. That's from Star Child. Do we have a second for that?
I'll second it.
A second from Mike Van Roy. Okay. Do we have an objection to endorsing AB 1627? All right. We will go ahead and take a position of endorsement on AB 1627.
And to close out, I would just like to request that this and all the other positions that we're taking be put up right away on the website, and I can be happy to help with that if help is needed typing stuff in. If I'm given access, I'm still interested in knowing who has access to the website and to various databases and so forth. I think we should have a consolidated list of who has access to what. And also just mention on an unrelated note, because I've mentioned it several times and I think could help us here in this meeting if we turn this on. Mimi says she knows how to turn it on, to turn on the Zoom camera so it'll display in her screen and you see the countdown so you know how much time you have left on each individual item. It isn't just like one person looking at it off screen and then having to report to the rest of us, but everybody can look at the person's screen who's displaying the timer and
You have the ability to write an article and post it on the website if you think that's appropriate. Anyone can now write an article to be placed on the website, and Wes has begged for content. So if you think there's a good way to explain this to people, write an article.
Yeah, well, maybe not the timer bit, but the endorsements of these things. If you want to write about it, there's space for it on the website. And a big voter guide page is probably a great idea anyway.
I'm not necessarily opposed to writing something up, but what I was suggesting, what I'm more concerned about, is that we have an ongoing page established on the website where we list resolutions, endorsements, this kind of thing that the party has taken.
A broad voter guide
also
omnibus
separately
page sounds like a good idea.
The separate thing I was asking for was just this doesn't maybe necessarily need to be on the website, although I think there's no reason not to have a list of who has access to what, so just everybody's clear on that. Then the timer was a third separate thing that I mentioned.
Okay.
Are we still talking about legislation?
We are still talking.
Yeah, we got three more.
We're moving ahead here. We're jumping into Kara's stuff. All right,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, we have Mark and then Mimi, and then we're moving forward. What's up, Mark?
All right. More importantly, there is a website that I believe both houses of the state legislature allow submissions of organizations endorsing yay or nay votes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to let the legislation know, well, hey, this is the Libertarian Party stance on X. I don't recall it over the top of my head, but if you go searching, I think you'll find it.
Okay. What do we search for, Mark?
It's a way to feedback the organization's support or opposition to legislation.
All right. Mimi, you have your hand up.
Okay, so weirdly, I'm going to just piggyback off of Mark. There's the legislative portal, which we as a party do have access to. I think that's what he's talking about. And as far as what Star Child was talking about, we can absolutely do a voter guide, and I think we should. And that should be put on the living document for what Maria puts on our website. So please, I've shared that several times, that living document, but I think we should absolutely have a voter guide that we're doing for that. So thank you.
That we're maintaining. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Let's move ahead into Kara Smith has several items here. I don't have a time for these, Kara. Do you think that you can bring these home in about 15 minutes?
Oh yeah, I actually was gonna just kind of get a feel for if anybody saw the email I sent out about them. And if not, I'm willing to push these to the next meeting if that would be preferable.
Well, we are we're over 2 hours in. So is there appetite to take this up tonight, or we'll entertain a motion to push these to next month?
Did anybody get to read what I sent?
I did.
Yeah.
No.
Tara, do you know how imminent any of these things are? Do they require action fast? Are they likely to get passed, or are they bogged down in committees? Where do they
No,
stand?
they're in committees. These are in committees. It's only two. I accidentally put one twice. But we can put sorry, yeah, I don't know how that happened. But I'm fine with pushing it till next time.
I think we should all look at it a little more carefully.
Yeah, and then you can always there's like a link, and then one of them even has like an article in addition to the actual wording. And then I had additional concerns for religious liberty and associated with them. So if you have any questions, just email me back. Maybe from that email would be the easiest to keep track.
All right. So we'll entertain a motion to postpone these two items till next month's agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion for that from Paul. Do you have a second for that? Is there a second for that?
Second.
These are which items again?
This is the
Holy
no on
second.
AB 1803 and the no on AB 1851. I heard a second there from someone, but I don't know exactly who.
Yeah,
we're postponing.
It was Mimi. Okay, we'll call it Mimi. All right.
We're postponing them so people can get more information, or
yes, so that we can read up on them.
Yeah, and please check the email I sent on this Star Child. I did send one out. So and then if you have further questions, just reply to that email, and I'll answer questions.
Okay. All right. So we got a motion to postpone these. That has a second. Is there objection to postponing these to next month? Okay. All right. I have a note here in new business that Francisco kind of added. He has apparently Barbara has contacted him. She's requested that we consider changing the meeting day, the day of our meetings. I'll put that on the agenda for next month. We can have a conversation about that if you guys want to change the day.
Barbara's not a member of the XCOM. Barbara's an LNC rep. Why would we change our meeting for Barbara?
Okay, that's a fair point. There's no appetite to have this on the agenda for next month?
Well, she asked. It's all we can do is consider.
I mean, we can talk about it for a minute. If that results in no motion, then so be it.
Well, I don't have an objection.
I think we should have it on the agenda for next month to talk about it. I don't know why not.
That's
very good. Thank you.
I will throw it on the agenda. We'll chat about it next month. Okay. That being the case, we have reached the end.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, Dave jumps in with the motion to adjourn.
I did it first.
I think Dave started talking first, but we'll call Mimi the second. So we did that.
Okay.
So we have a motion to adjourn. We have a second. Is there objection to adjournment?
No.
We're out of here at 8:43. We came in below 3 hours. You guys are amazing.
Yay.
Thank you for your time and your patience this evening.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and end this meeting.
Good night,
Good night. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Lauren, the beacon goes out tomorrow. Please email this over to me the second it is done processing.
Oh, sweet.
You the transcripts.
I will sit here and stare at my computer for a second and send it over.
Thank you. Thank you. Later.